so good to have, I call her Lady Chioma Onyiuke, right? That's the right pronunciation.
Onyiuke.
Onyiuke.
Onyiuke,
Onyiuke.
yes.
Onyiuke. All right, awesome. Okay, so technical, are we good? We're good. It'll be nice to have our profile on display, and then let's get this going.
Awesome.
Okay, good, good, good. I'm so delighted, to be here this afternoon. I have Coach Onyiuke. She is a certified strength strategy and people acuity coach for female business owners. Okay, she helps them master and leverage their strengths to level their leadership and experience expansion in their businesses. Although a law graduate with honors, Chioma has 14 years combined customer service, human resources, and advertising experience as a consultant and as a team manager. She leads others from her ability to, empathize, to care, and to offer encouragement. Chioma is gifted at seeing the uniqueness and potential of each individual, and she enjoys coaching people towards a deeper understanding of their talents so that they can leverage them to accelerate their results and performance. Right. She also brings a vast experience in the area of one-to-one coaching, group facilitation, coaching and facilitation. In our free time, Chioma enjoys exploring new countries. Wow, which is the next country we are going to, and then learning about their culture. She's an avid reader and enjoys classical music, nature walks, and arts. Chioma is a mentor of the Aspire Foundation UK and does volunteer work on a regular basis, mentoring and empowering women in their various fields of endeavor. She's happily married with 3 boisterous boys and a vivacious, I think that's 22-year-old girl that brings her joy and laughter. Ladies and gentlemen, with a virtual round of applause, please welcome Coach Chioma.
Yay.
Whoa.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Great, great. And thank you for honoring our invitation. So look, reading your profile, there are a couple of things I just want to, demystify.
Right.
Let me just go into that before we go into the crux of today's matter. So
Sure.
Tell me, 3 boisterous boys and then a vivacious 22-year-old girl. Tell me.
22 months old.
22 months old.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Our house is like a circus, because I've got 3 boys, but they're not too close in age. So the first is 14, the second is 10, and then the third boy is 7. And then I've got my girl who's just 22 months old. So oh my goodness, it's a circus every day, but I'm so thankful. And she tries to imitate the boys, so she's almost like a tomboy. There's a lot going on, but I'm really thankful. There's just nothing like seeing that many people, many kids running around. And taking that sometimes that pressure off of you, as you just look at what they're doing, they make you laugh, they just help take the troubles away and give you that calm. So I'm really thankful.
So you have like that kind of experience where you thought you were done, and then you're still having to play that role you played 14 years ago.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, wow. I played 8 years ago. That's for this last my last girl who's 22 months old. I think it's I've always wanted a girl, with the 3 boys. It's something I've always in my quiet time I'll pray to my father, please, it's something would love a girl. But then I didn't even focus on that. I was just pursuing, my business, and it happened. So it happened.
Hey.
So I'm thankful.
So for all those that are listening, it just happened. There was no plan. It was just that was a joke. That was a joke. That was a setup. Women have the way of just getting this going. So she
Oh,
just said it
awesome.
happened. Okay. But to God be the glory, you know, because I love, that's the first time I've ever read any profile that, you know, accentuates, you know, just the love and joy and laughter, you know, the individual gets from their child or their children. So I think I'm also going to go and look for one word, you know, just so that I will now add to my own profile, because I think I put, you know, that funny thing that is married and together with, they have 3 lovely children. Okay, so I
All
think
right, yes.
yeah, I'll go and remodel that.
Add a bit of drama.
And you know, that takes me to, you know, the uniqueness of every individual. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you know, almost like why we're going to be having this trend, or why we're having this trend discussion today. But before we
Yes.
even go into that, you know, I saw another thing, you know, you studied law. So what's
Yes.
this one that you have now? Is it that you put aside law, or are you now a coaching lawyer or the legal coach?
See, oh yes, okay. I think I went off for the screen went off for a bit. Well, you know, when it's what it is like, you know, growing up, you know, we see people that we admire, you know, and then can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. So we see
Yes.
people that we admire and we want to be like them. So I grew up with an auntie who was a judge, you know, I mean, in a legal profession. I just really, really admired her. I had another auntie who was a successful lawyer. And I just, you know, looking at them, that was what I had said, you know, my growing up years that I would study. So I might not have had that maybe passion, but when I saw that, you know, when I saw the you know, the character they exuded, I thought, wow, I'd love to be this way. I'd love to be like this. So that was what really informed me, you know, going towards that career. And but you know, going through it, I really appreciate the experience because it helped me really, it exposed me to a lot, you know, exposed me to a lot of things, and just having that analytical kind of way of thinking, and just, you know, it helped me discover my love for history, you know,
Right?
especially, you know, British history. I just, it's so fascinating and interesting.
Wow.
So yeah, so so, you know, moving from that to coaching. Okay, so I started at a law firm. I started, you know, working at a law firm, and then I discovered I had cancer. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So I think that experience, that ordeal, just made me go into myself, made me really think about what I wanted out of life, you know, and lots of prayer and just seeking God's, you know, seeking God's face, you know. If you, I mean, if I'm a person of faith, you know, and that was what happened, you know. It just really gave me a different perspective on life, and a different assignment, you know, that I wasn't supposed to be there. And that was how I ventured into coaching.
Whoa. How long
Yes.
ago was this? How long ago was this?
This happened 2008. This happened 2008, and I had just started, you know, I think I was at the law firm for 3 years. And it happened, you know, but I'm thankful and grateful to God just for the ordeal, because I keep telling people that I share the story with that I would not have did it with anything else, because it helped me go into who, you know, step into myself to really uncover who I was, you know, to uncover my gifts and talents and really what you know, what I actually existed for, you know?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, this, I never really read that about you, that you had survived, you know, cancer,
Mm.
you know. Wow, that must have been an experience. I almost want to bring you on the reinvention immersion bootcamp. So there's this bootcamp we
Okay.
have that talks
Right.
about radical transformation. And, you know,
Mm.
reinvention takes place either when people are in a crisis, which I've alluded to. It takes place also when you probably get to a crossroad and you say, hey,
Absolutely.
what's really wrong with me? Or from a place of introspection or reflection, you or constant monitoring and assessment of yourself, you decide can it get better? So people are now intentional about that change. But for yours, for you rather, you had that crisis, you combated it. And that's a story I want to have to discuss outside of this platform to say, hey, and it helped you uncover, yourself. You became self-aware. So maybe I should just delve straight into the today's discussion, because somehow you just opened it up, and I can't but just touch it. So all along you were living the life of, was it that you were living a life outside of you, or you were being formed to follow the legal profession? So tell me, what was that experience like? Before this experience, before you came to yourself, what kind of life were you living?
I want to share this story. This was a month after I had my baby. I was doing the law school exams, the bar exams.
Okay.
And I remember on the final paper we had, I was so relieved. How difficult the bar exams must be. So on that final paper, I dropped my pen, and I was like, wow, at least now I can enjoy my baby. I can enjoy my home. But then after that, there was another kind of thought that just, it was like a whoosh, and it was like, okay, so you're done with all of this. You're done with your exams. You're happily married. You have a baby. You have a job in one of the prestigious law firms. Is this really all there is to life? Is this really all there is to life? That was the question. But I didn't really, I just put it by the side. You know how those questions come up in our day to day. We go about our day. They come up. It's our heart, our soul telling us there's something much more than what you're currently experiencing, or what you're currently, the kind of life you're currently living. And that was what I had, but I pushed it aside until I was diagnosed with cancer. And that made me come back and remember this, this question at the back of my mind at the time. Yeah.
I've never really been this flustered, talking. So I remember my first coaching experience. I had my first experiment was to have a conversation with a survivor, but and she had several issues and cases of cancer, and that was like, for me, a life-changing moment also, because now I wanted to transit into coaching, and I'd gone to do all the certification. And my first, also in the same class, was someone that had survived so many other things, but she's still back. And even though she still had to battle with the fear of and she was going for another treatment at some point. And that woken, or would I say that woke up something within me, in the sense that I just knew that I'm now on my purpose journey. So
wow.
So how did you now start to talk about strength? Then you now have strength strategy. You now have Acuity code. Yeah, tell me, how did you get into all of that?
So it's been quite the journey for me. It's been quite the journey. So I first started out. So with all of this, will I call it awakening? I started pursuing first counseling. I went to do I started the Christian counseling course, and then the thing is, as you're moving in your purpose, as you're moving in your purpose, you kind of keep, every step you take, you kind of receive that clarity. And so, eventually I joined the John Maxwell team. I did the certification. And it was all, it was an interesting start to that journey, becoming a coach. But then I stumbled up, but then, sorry, even with that, I still didn't feel like this was all there was, even in coaching, I still didn't feel like I was giving of myself. I wasn't utilizing all of me, and I still felt like the pack. I felt like part of the pack, and not really standing out, with my unique, with my unique
talents or
gifts or talents, my
yes.
unique way of contributing. And so one day I stumbled upon somebody somebody that took this course, strength strategy course certification. And she was a John Maxwell team member. So I stumbled upon her post or a comment she made. And I was like, wow, this really sounds amazing, And it's not something because of course, I read every other day. I read about different programs, but this really stood out for me. And when I began to research or make more inquiries about it, it was the person who I was communicating with at the time, who was one of their contacts, said something that really, really stood out for me. He said that the founder of this institute, right? She's a person of faith. She's a person of faith, and he shared with me something she had shared, something that was private. And I was like, wow, she believes that each and every one, God has put us in this world, for a certain purpose, and also has given us a certain mix of talents, to be able to fulfill that purpose. And I think that stood out for me, the fact that he shared this thing that was so private and personal with me. And that was how I started on that journey, of strength psychology, and just really understanding, how, it's fascinating, isn't it? That they said for somebody to have the same strengths, the same order of strengths, it's one in how many million,
1 in
how
million,
many million? Yes, 33 million.
Yes,
that's fascinating, isn't it? And I thought, wow. And that was how I went through that journey. And through that journey, I began to understand myself. I began to understand that even if I had weaknesses, because of course I grew up with, especially people close to you, right? Like, you understand, criticizing or saying, oh, no, this is the way you should do this, not this way. And then I always had this deficit thinking mindset that I needed to fix who I was. I needed to fix who I was instead of channeling or focusing on what I was good at, instead of focusing on my strengths. And that, of course, made me have a low self-esteem. I just felt like, I didn't really matter, But this really was a game changer. It was so transformational to understand that, wow, even with my strengths, the kind of strengths of the makeup that I had, I can actually make a difference. I can actually contribute positively. And I think that was so amazing. That was so amazing. It gave me that confidence, to really move ahead in my coaching career. And that's, that's where I am.
One thing about, so I also imagine you stumbling on all of this, okay? And you did your strength test, I guess. You must have done a strength test.
Yes, okay? I did.
Do you know was it the Gallup that you had, because there are a few of
It's the Gallup strengths, yes.
Okay,
the Gallup
tell me in order, what are your strengths, your top 5 strengths?
Okay, in the order.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first is developer.
Okay.
If I know the order now. Okay, so the first is developer, the second is relator.
Okay.
The third is belief.
Okay.
The third is belief. The fourth is so it's relator. Sorry, it's developer, relator, belief. The fourth is, can you imagine?
But it's fine. It's fine. So anyone that comes to mind, just tell me. Okay.
Sure. Okay, anyone that comes to mind. So the next is, so it's developer, relator, belief, I can't believe this. And I coach how many people, you know?
No, but it's fine because it also
Can I
happens
just
to
check?
me.
Does it
No,
happen
no,
to you?
yeah, it
Let
does.
me,
Okay, so,
I
but
can't imagine. Sorry.
It happens, because somehow you just, and it's there hanging in your head,
It's
and you
there,
want
yes.
to, yeah,
I can't.
No, but it's fine. So let me tell you the quickest way I deal with this is that I've been
Right.
able to own, and and I love that we're having this experience. I've owned this so much that I no longer, because I live my strengths fully. I can always tell you what strength is playing out. Okay. What at every, so sometimes
Absolutely.
I get into it. So for me, I'm strong with the strategic thinking thing.
So sorry, let me add the two, empathy and then individualization.
Yeah, okay.
Empathy and individualization.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Awesome. So I see where you are stronger. Okay, I'm beginning to see you have a bit of you have a developer, you have relator, which is a relationship building strength. You have empathy, is also relationship building, individual. So I see you lead with.
Sorry. Individualization is actually number 7. So number 5 is impute. Sorry.
Impute. Okay, so impute is a strategy.
You know why I'm like this? Because we're my institute, right? They've now kind of giving it a different name. That's these strengths make up, they're giving it kind of a different name. So it's like, instead of these names, we have things like enrolling strengths, we have things like energizing strengths, something like that.
Okay.
So that's why. So I'm sorry about that.
No. There's really nothing to be sorry about now, because so it's like it's almost like me teaching biology and somebody teaching French, So yes, and we have to make it very clear that Coach Chioma operates as a strength strategist, all right, and Acuity coach, okay, not necessarily a Gallup strength coach, but you know your strengths. That's the ultimate thing, and you are leveraging your strengths to to achieve your key objectives and your purpose, all right, and that's it. So, and one of the things that happens also is that a lot of people don't even have this kind of clarity that you have, okay, to the extent that they don't even know. Okay, so like imagine, and I've used this example several times over. My number 2 strength, all right, is command. And though sometimes command still slips in and out, but there was a time I didn't even know how to use command. It was almost like I was on overdrive, okay, causing confusion, disturbing people, irritating everyone, and look, I couldn't even name it. All right. The best would have been that if I went to a church and they would say, look, this guy needs he needs deliverance.
Imagine that.
And then they would have been alluding various things. You see, people hate you because of some of the problems. Yes. But anyway, so let's leave that on that. But as funny as it sounds, it was a concern for me. And so when people also don't even know, the fact that it's also okay that you can't name it, but can you even be aware? And that's one of the things that intrigues me the most, really, as to this journey about discovery. This journey about discovery, self-discovery, awareness. As we slip into awareness, we begin to see and become conscious of what the other person has that you probably also don't have. You become less selfish, if there's anything like that, because at that point it's no longer it's me, but you realize that we complement each other.
Absolutely.
And that's it's born out of awareness. Okay. And then you can complement each other. Okay. So even and this awareness can be used in the home as with your spouse. It could be used with the children. That way, you are also not saying be like this, be like that. Okay. So there was this video I shared earlier on today about students being flogged, way back.
Right.
And they're still being flogged right now. And
Yeah.
I was saying that a lot of us have been abused, okay, because the brain cannot differentiate between whether it's sexual abuse, it's physical abuse, it's psychological. All the brain can tell because they did an experiment and they soon realized that the readings of the brain of someone that probably was sexually abused, or somebody that was raped, or somebody that was beaten, they had the same parchments. So the brain, so you can now imagine why there's so much aggression around. Okay, so you're having to deal with that, with the things that you have been imbued with, then to the point where you don't even know yourself, know your triggers. You see that you only just be struggling. And I love what you said. You know, sometimes when we're not, do you know what? What I'm doing right now is what I always want to do. If, for instance, I always have to do anything, this is all I want to do. To be able to inspire people, to be able to educate people, to be able to teach. Okay, like I call myself a reinvented teacher. But how did I come into this now? Yeah, you know, how did I come into this journey? It was from first trying to please people or living the life as people will call it. And then to the point where, to the point where now I'm having to, just struggle to live a life now that I can now say I'm no longer living on their own terms. I'm living on my own terms. And it's a journey. It's a journey. It is a journey. Yes. So tell me, when you talk about strategy, strength strategy, because I'm a strategy person, I'm curious to say, hey, so strength has a strategy, right? So tell us, what strategy do you use to, channel these strengths to achieving great results?
Sure. So, it's just like, like you said, we take this this Gallup Strength Finders test, right? We do the test and we see our strengths, we see the order in which they're, and we're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And I like what you said about, for every activity, you're so familiar with how, when your strengths are playing out. You see, quite a number of us, would take that test.
Life,
Quite a number of us will take that test, we'll say, wow, this is amazing. Oh, so this is what my strengths are. But that's all we do. We don't do anything else. It's just in the shelf collecting dust. So what strength strategy is really is not enough to know your strengths.
Okay.
Not enough to know your strengths, but how are you strategically applying it so that you're able to experience those, so that you're able to experience high performance, high energy, maximum results, So what it is, for strength strategy, we postulate that there are other components that when you're familiar with, there are other components of strengths. I call it strengths accelerators that when you're familiar with, right? When you're familiar with and know how to use them, is going to help your strengths flourish. It's going to help your strengths perform at its best, So that's why we say you've got to go beyond just knowing your strengths to really having a superpowered discernment of those strengths, understanding the power of your strengths, understanding how your strengths can actually help you, kind of get through a negative situation because you're now proactive, because you know your strengths, because you know the accelerators, because you know when your strengths are in overdrive, because you know your needs that are related to your strengths and you're able to respond to those needs, then you're able to, you're now more proactive instead of acting reactive, you're always, instead of being reactionary in your attitude or the way you act. So it's I think it's powerful. It's really powerful, in the sense that it does so much more than telling us what we're good at. It does so much more to even, to the extent that it helps us with our beliefs. It shapes our beliefs, our perspective, it shapes our needs. We're able to, and so what we call it is our strengths lens, and that is why sometimes when you're discussing or having a conversation with somebody, right? And you're wondering, what's this person on about? It's because their strengths, yeah, I mean, their own strengths are in your blind spots. It's not your strength. So it's in your blind spot. And so you might take it in a negative manner because these are not your strengths, you know. So I think it's really, I mean, it's so interesting that, you know, there's so much more to say about it, you know. But it's just understanding your unique combination of strengths and how it can help you, you know, when you understand those components, you know, to get to a place of high performance and really staying in the optimal zone, because that's what we all, you know, that's where we all want to be.
And so I really am intrigued about the strength strategy, even though without proper, what would I call it now? We have not done full research. But one of the things that I'm almost alluding to what you said is the fact that the strength assessment is a tool, okay? It's almost like having your armor, okay? If you don't know the purpose of the armor that is meant to be used to hit a nail, you would have missed it. And a few days ago, I was sharing with some of my teammates, and we're talking about inputs and outputs. And it ties in with some of the things you said, and I'm just going to touch a bit around that. So there's the input, and then there's the output. But the output is slightly different from the outcome. And let me put it this way. So input is when you have, for instance, wanted to make stir-fried chicken or stir-fried shrimps. What do you like? Which one do you like? Stir-fried chicken or stir-fried?
Oh, shrimps any day. Shrimps, yeah.
So let me be your chef now. So now we have all the ingredients, right? And so for those that are listening, this is like a real recipe for stir-fried shrimps. So you have onions. If you have some tomatoes, good. If you have bell pepper, all right, that's also good. If you also want to put a bit of carrot, you dice it. What else? What else do you have in that ingredient?
Spring onions. Did you mention that? Spring onions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Green onions, right?
Yes. Green onions.
Yeah. Green onions and what else? So okay, let's leave it at that. Then maybe we'll have some. What do I call it? Some of the sauces. All right. It could be the what? Which of the sauces?
Soy sauce. Soy sauce.
Yeah, oyster sauce or soy sauce.
Yeah.
So imagine.
My mouth is watering already as you
really. So we're cooking. We're cooking, and then in all that mix. So those are the inputs that you require, almost like strengths. And I love what you talked about, accelerators. So you have those inputs, right? But do you know that if those inputs are not properly, in order, presented or put in the pot in the proper order, the output might be the same in the sense that you have done stir fry, but the outcome in terms of the taste will be different.
Oh, wow.
And that's true. That's why Yamodino has a recipe, Yasikira has a recipe, and Chef Deron has his recipe. But they will all cook differently, and it will come out different.
It comes
out different. And they use the same ingredients, okay?
Absolutely.
So tying down to strength, is that it's also possible that even when you are 1 in 33 million, and the same people have the same order of strengths, because of several other factors, education, experience, exposure, environment, it would have also even tilted or tainted the outcome.
Absolutely.
Or the output, as the case may be. The output being the same, but the outcome would have been tainted. So I kind of love this strategy to say, hey, guy, you have your strengths in this order, but you need accelerators, okay? And for those that are listening, this is the Strength Discussion Series. We're just telling you how you can discover your strengths, develop these strengths, and deploy them to achieving either your goals or your purpose, okay? Or your vision, as the case may be, because there's a thin line between purpose and vision. We'll get around that. So really, the input, your discovery of yourself, all right, would help you to align and achieve your outcome. and not necessarily the output. That's why A will be doing the same thing B is doing, but because they lack awareness and understanding of how, they get worried to the extent that they start to, wrongly apply themselves and they have negative outcomes. So tell me about some of these strategies. I'm curious about the, these words that you use. You use certain words that I have to note down. You talked about the strengths accelerator. So can you give us instances around how, or scenarios where strengths can be, I know you talked about if you are feeling bad on it, but can you, with specific experiences, either with some of those that you've coached, tell us how your conversations with your clients,
Okay, sure.
has enabled them to experience some acceleration towards the pursuit of their goals.
Sure. So when I talk about strengths accelerators, right, I'm going to mention what they are. So we're first talking about your contributions, which is what you're doing, maybe a task or an activity or way of being that gives off a positive, that is a positive impact on others, right? And then we talk about the second component, your needs, okay, which are, your needs are actually conditions, right, in which your strengths thrive. So without those needs being met, your strengths can actually go into overdrive, or you might not know how to engage them in the situation that you're in. Say, for instance, I'm somebody who, I love to use Excel. I'm someone who, uses Excel. I collect data using Excel. So the need I have there, right, with that strength is that I need data. I need data. I need the information to be able to, put in and present my findings, right? I need that. But what if I'm not giving that information? If I'm not giving that information, then, my strengths cannot flourish, because that's what I need to be able to give my best. And so it can then set off, a toxic, you're frustrated by it, right? You're frustrated by the fact that you cannot get this. And as a result, you're just at loggerheads. You're not, the contribution you would have given to make an impact is not there because your needs are not met. So that's so important to understand, that for my strengths to be able to perform at their best, I need to be able to meet that need. I need to be able to recognize, first of all, and meet that need. Because I was even sharing some days ago, yesterday, about certain frustrations that we have, and we think they're external, but it actually starts within. And it might be as a result of an unmet need, It might be as a result of an unmet need that, when you don't meet, it's like, you need air to breathe. If I don't have this, then how can my strengths flourish? So it's also important to be able to understand the needs tied to our strengths, so that we can, recognize and respond to those needs, so that our strengths can then perform at their best. So that's a scenario, that's an instance. And I mean, it's been like an eye opener for my clients, for them to understand that, wow, there's this client I have that is a banker, and she has communication. Communication as one of her strengths. And she shared with me that her team, because she's a manager, her team, they used to like, she was always, she's very, to be able to what's the word, to be able to put across her point, and she can do it to the point that it gets overboard. And she also has activator, which is like, she's always on the move. Oh my goodness. So her team cannot keep up with her, or when she, they'll run away from her, or they'll be like, I need time. She expects them to, to deliver whatever it is she's giving them at that instant or that. But they said, I need time to be able to work this out. So with that understanding, she realizes that, oh, this person or this team member might have a strength where maybe deliberative or whatever it is, where they need time to come up or to go through whatever it is, and that's the same with me as well. I'm not a spur of the moment kind of person. I need time. I need that space to be able to think through, to deliberate, for my strengths to then perform at their best. So I think with that realization, she understands that, wow, it's been a game changer for her.
Wow. That's, the way you've, I've just allowed a few people in here to be able to ask questions. So if you see the unmute opportunity, please, you could ask a question or contribute to this discussion. But while that is going on, you said something very profound. And I think that, wow, this is so, considering that I've been doing this for a while, you've also kind of illuminated some of the growing, so there's an element of a need, all right? We call it the claim methodology. So we use the strengths test, all right, assessment, to help you claim an extraordinary life. So the claim is, it's an acronym. It's C is for clarity. So we bring clarity into, to everything that you're doing. L is for learning. We believe that once you are aware of those things that you want to do or you want to get to, can you also start to improve yourself with knowledge or educate yourself on those things? Then the A is to align, okay? So there are some things, the overbearing nature and the underbearing nature, you want to deal with that. And then also instances around introducing new things or introducing or interrupting the things, certain things that are not working the way they should. And then the fifth is M.
I just turn off, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Sorry, can I just turn off my I'm using my phone.
Oh, okay. All right. So
as data. So I think a call came through. So I just want to hopefully, yes. Let me just turn down the volume of my ringtone.
Please go ahead with that. Go ahead. Okay, so as we spoke, we talked around the M also being monitoring and measuring. So when you start to talk around the needs, okay, the needs, it's also comes to that point where once you are clear as to where you want to go, you are also now conscious of what you need, okay? And so for me, knowing my strengths, I have what you call S, significance. And that significance kind of prompts me to doing things that are, great and audacious, if you come to meet me with any small need, I probably will not get excited, but make it as big as to say, let's take over Africa. And somehow you'd have realized that, hey, my strength is accelerated. So I kind of fully understand when you start to talk about the strength accelerator and how, when I understand my contribution and the place of my, those conditions or enablers or in terms of the need, then my strengths can be accelerated. And that's kind of very profound because I said, okay, because it was almost like, there's this thing we're constantly discovering. Absolutely, in the sense that nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. So today I speak to another strength coach, something comes up and you also learn something. Now, to the guy that thinks he knows, he would have failed. The guy that thinks he knows all, and there's nothing about strengths that you can tell me. That guy has failed because there are different perspectives, all right? Different instances, experiences that that just helps us and even better equips us. So whilst you were speaking, I'm also saying, look, we need to do some joint calls together, because there's also my own subject matter expertise, tilting towards also helping you achieve exponential results, but using strength. Now, you are the keenness or acuity coach. So let's talk about acuity. What that word, I had to go and Google that word, number one, and then find out how to pronounce it. And that word is Acuity, and it means keenness or something. Tell us that acuity bit. Tell us about that.
Oh, sure. So it's still tied into knowledge and awareness of our strengths. Because when you are knowledgeable, when you are aware of your strengths, and when you are aware of your strengths accelerators, then there's this keenness, or you're able to see yourself with acuity, right? Because you're no longer in the dark about who you are. And as a result of that, you're able to then see others with that keenness. Do you understand that acuity? Because you're more clear, you're clearer about your own strengths and weaknesses. You're then able to see others, in their strengths and weaknesses and embrace that. So that's really what acuity is about, just seeing ourselves with keenness as we understand our strengths and are familiar with our strengths accelerators.
Great. Okay, guys, I know you probably have been having a great time, and if you're itching to ask a question or contribute, I see a few people here. I see Ruben, I see Ifejesu, I see Joanne, see Souls, I see Treasure Spirit-Filled Ministry. Do you want to join in the conversation? I think Ruben came in a bit late. I've asked you to unmute yourself. Would you want to contribute to this conversation? Ruben? Yeah, and then some guy just left now. Okay, let's go ahead. So, okay, I think someone's about to say something. Okay. Now, the other word that also kind of jolted me, so we talked about strength accelerator, we've talked about acuity, is you said something around deficit thinking. Can you expatiate on this compound word?
Oh, sure. So you see, we see this play out a lot, in our, like corporations, in our places of work, where the focus is on each employer's weakness and what they need to do to fix that weakness, So we approach this notion, you understand, for like high performance to thinking, right, that we need to fix something that is broken, that we need to fix a weakness, or we need to work on our weaknesses. We hear it a lot, work on your weakness. But the thing is, when we focus, or when we get our employees to focus in on their weaknesses, it actually drains them the more, because they are more focused on how can they fix this weakness? What can they do to fix this weakness? Whereas what we should be doing is, I'm sure you, of course, is to help them focus on their strengths, expand that area of strength, so that it then has the ability to mitigate the impact of your weakness, to reduce the impact of your weakness. It's not to say that, oh, we should not do anything about our weaknesses, but it's then to have is to understand, that our weaknesses, I think it's having an understanding of our weaknesses, right? And if you want me to share this, is that our weaknesses actually come from two places, right? One is where we have an unmet need, right? Like I shared, like I expatiated earlier, where we have an unmet need. When we're not able to meet that need, it comes off as a weakness, because you're not contributing your strength effectively. And it gets to a point where it's kind of a liability to you and others, you know? And the second area of weakness is where we don't have that strength in us at all to engage the situation. So we don't really, like, it's not in our strengths makeup, you know? So that's the second kind of weakness. That's the second, you know? So the thing is really understanding where our weakness comes from and what it really means. Do you understand? And when we do that, we're then able to focus more on our strengths. Because when we experience that, you know, we see that, and you know, like I mentioned, and when you see that, okay, this frustration or this weakness is actually coming because there's an unmet need, or maybe, like you said, your strengths are in overdrive, that it comes as a weakness, you know? Yeah, yeah.
Wow. You know, I'm also getting some, you know, illumination also constantly. So there could be the external need, and then there's the internal need. Now, the internal need is to say the things that you can't change really, you know, and the external needs are those things that you require to be able to meet your
I love
strength.
that.
You know,
I like that.
I'm so, don't worry.
That's why you're very strategic. You see, your brain is working.
It's working. I'm like,
I love that.
How do I pursue this?
Yes,
you know, and so I'm
love
seeing that. So because we've also agreed that those things are innate, you know, is also for, so the ones that you can influence are the things that are external or the internal one, yeah, but you have no control over the things that you don't have. All right. So why
you have no control? Yeah.
You have no, why worry over things you have no control over? Now, the ones that you can control being, what are the inputs I need for my goal to achieve the desired outcome? Then let me do those things. So if, for instance, you're an employee or a boss or an employer, have you communicated succinctly what is required, the needed elements to achieve a goal? Okay, those are the external. And those should not now make you, because when you don't have clarity, almost like when we talked about the claim methodology, once you lack clarity, you probably also are not able to function at your best. Okay, you almost be going up and down. So I have one of my colleagues came to me yesterday, said, sir, I just want to be clear about what I'm going to tell them. Even though initially when that question was asked, I was almost like, really? Are you, you know, but she just needed to be clear. So, well, I said, well, this is it now, you know, even though I said it grudgingly, but from hindsight now, I'm also wondering, okay, so we talk about clarity. Can we also communicate clearly and not just assume that people are aware? So that's
that's such a good point. Yeah,
that can be addressed. That's an external, you know, requirement that could be a weakness, which you have said. And then there's the internal one where I cannot engage. You know, if I'm poor in this, I'm poor. There's no how you. It's like trying to make a fish climb a tree. It doesn't matter the administration, the prayer, the schools, the coach, whether I should meet
it's just
Chioma, it will just fizzle out and struggle. And suffocate and then die. You know. I'm so happy that, you know, I almost don't want it to be, but you know what? We've spent almost an hour, okay? Almost an hour just talking.
Such a beautiful session.
Yes,
I love it.
Well, I'm just intrigued. We need to have more of this. And I'm already marking down, you know, for the reinvention, because that's your story. That story is a story that needs to be told and amplified as to conquering cancer, all right? And then still living life to the fullest. That's a reinvention story. I don't even know why you are not speaking at the reinvention immersion bootcamp. We have to, even if it's a fireside chat, we have to bring you to come and just share that experience.
I'm all up. I definitely would love to. I'd love to.
Great. I'll be following you keenly on that. It starts on the 1st of August. I will have something today in case people joining us. We have what we call Reinvented to Lead. We're going to be dissecting the individual as to come into a place of awareness, your strengths, and how you can live to, you know, the best of you. So it starts from leading yourself, Reinvented to Lead. So we have Kemi Ogunkoya. She's a member of the Homes Business Council. yeah, a member of the Forbes Business Council. She's a leadership strategist, and she's trained over 3,500 people in a space of, I think, 3-4 years. And I would say she's much more beyond being beautiful. She's brilliant. Okay. Now, almost like you, brilliant and beautiful. Now look at it this way. So we've bundled something. We bundled a book or 2 books. So we have this is one of the books, this hardcover, and then I think we have one of the other books somewhere.
Okay, leadership. What's the author of that? Who's the author?
That's
wow,
Kemi's book. And then I think I have can you imagine? I'm trying to look for mine. Okay. And then we are having a master class today. So this
so that's your book.
This is my book, Reinvention. And then we have the leadership guidance. And then these 2 books plus our workbooks, all right, for reinvention to lead, and a master. Okay, so for whatever it is, I think I just went off. If you can hear me. Okay, so I'm using the back end. Sorry about that.
Oh, right. That's fine. I thought as much.
Just when I was about to make a sale, right? So these 2 books, can you guess how much they're going for? With the master class and the workbooks. Can you just put the figure to it?
So the 2 books with the master class.
And then the workbooks.
100 and something?
No. So, what we're doing, we believe that is an assignment. Okay? So we said, look, can we even get more people reinvented to lead? And so it's going for less than 10,000 naira.
Really?
That's one. 2 I can't even tell you how much. It's less than 10,000 naira. So if you are here, just join us, click the link, and you are going to get this, including delivery. So they will deliver this to wherever you are.
Really?
And those that are out.
I'd love to get my hands on those books. Wow.
And I can tell you for free that tonight, 7 p.m. is going to be life-changing. We have some people that have signed up from the financial institutions and some other. So look, it would also be nice to have you, Chioma, come in, and if you have anybody in your community, just throw it out to them and say, hey.
Definitely, yes. I'd love. Look, is it on your page? So I can put it out there on my. Is it on your page?
Yeah, it's on my page, but I could also, I'll also send you the link, and you could also share out, but it's amazing. It's ridiculous, but somehow these things don't go viral.
They don't, yes.
These things don't go viral. They don't go viral.
Wow.
So look, I've had a beautiful time, and
same here, same likewise.
I don't even know where I want to even start from. But can the team, can we please share Coach Chioma's details? Okay, we need you to be able to reach out to her. So I'm sure we're going to have the team sharing. Okay, so now that they are using their own
backend
system, let me try and log on. So, but Coach, give us like your parting words or words of encouragement.
Right. Okay, so I want to share this, right? Our strengths are like puzzle pieces. And when that puzzle piece is missing, it means that your opportunity to change the world is missing, right? So I would encourage you to do what you can to fill that puzzle piece with what you bring, with your talents, with your gifts, because it is those of us who are crazy enough to change the world that actually do. And that comes from really giving off and contributing our gifts and talents to make that difference. And so that's the words that's my parting words to you.
Wow.
Continue that journey. Continue that journey, and you will get there.
So it's a continuous journey, and we'll get there. Let me just put up Coach Chioma's details. So if you are not following her already on Instagram, that's Coach Chioma Onyiuke. She's also on LinkedIn. Please spool her out. She can't be sharing this much insight, and you're not going to be knocking on her door. So if you're watching this live now or watching the replay, endeavor, as in run straight now and just go and like her page. If possible, drop a comment and say, look, you're energized. And I'm sure that you would have taken the right step. It's all about taking a decision or making a decision. You would have made that decision that is poised to, help you experience exponential living. Coach, how about a great time? Notwithstanding the glitches here and there, you see how we have to be very dynamic. All right. So notwithstanding anything that's happened, we delivered today's episode clean and clear. We're so elated to also have you.
So happy, so glad to hear.
With unusual insights. Whoa.
I learned a lot. And like you said, we should do this again. Honestly, this needs to.
And the reinvention thing, we should do it also, So we need to have you come and speak to people, let them know, because I don't think a lot of people even know. And we need more because the lessons are in the stories. The lessons
absolutely. You're so right. You're so right. Thank you so much.
It's been an amazing time for me. I've had a great time, and I'm sure everyone here on set and those that will be listening or watching the replay have also had a beautiful time. So this happens every Thursday, 2 p.m. West African time, and be rest assured that next week we are coming blazing and hot. Okay?
I have to. It's such an interesting. Strengths is such. It's exciting as well. Just hearing perspectives. I love it.
Exactly. We have coaches from all over. Just joining and logging in, and then people that are interested in also discovering themselves. So and some people have been consistent over time. It's a journey of personal development. It requires sacrifice, and commitment. So, and this is free. But the insights lens cannot be quantified. So I'd like to say thank you again on behalf of the Strength team from the Strength Studio here in Abuja today. We could be anywhere, but we're grateful that you came on. If we're to pay you in dollars, I'm sure we'll have to carry some sacks. But, you've just been magnanimous.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Next time, guys, look, reach out to Coach Chioma. I've had a great time, and I'm talking to her right after now, just to see how I can book a session. All right, great. So,
thank you so much.
Love to the boisterous boys. And to the vivacious girl.
22-month-old. I will. They'll hear.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your week.
Right,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.